This is Chapter 3 of the TILA Teacher Guides, Task, Design and Implementation. Here you will find a general overview with information about criteria to develop meaningful telecollaboration tasks. These criteria are based on research results in task-based language teaching, intercultural communication and computer-mediated communication. You will also find examples of tasks developed for different target languages: English, French, German, Spanish and Valencian, different communication constellations, lingua franca and tandem, different linguistic levels and tools. In what follows, I will give you a general overview about task development in telecollaboration projects. Task development is a key issue in the process of integrating telecollaboration exchanges in foreign language learning. Task development in telecollaboration presupposes collaboration between teachers in task design, task implementation and task evaluation. But what is a good task? A task that is meaningful and engaging for the learner, useful for his/her learning process, and pedagogically grounded. 5 key aspects permeate the design and implementation processes of telecollaboration tasks: learner-centeredness, intercultural focus, communicative focus, focus on technology, and pedagogical orientation. Let's have a look at each of these criteria for task development. Learner-centeredness in task design. When developing the tasks, key attention must be paid to the learner's needs, interests, styles and background. If tasks are felt to be close to their lives, if pupils have the opportunity to talk about themselves and share opinions, likes and dislikes, and experiences, they will feel more engaged in telecollaboration activities. It could be even interesting to explore with learners project topics and task ideas. This could contribute to enhance the meaningfulness of the whole telecollaboration experience. Intercultural focus in task design. In addition to learning how to exchange information in the target language, learners need to develop intercultural competence, which lays emphasis on the ability to decenter and take up the perspective of the other, as well as to establish and maintain relationships with the speakers with a different cultural background. The TILA project places the intercultural focus at the center of task development processes by stimulating learners to develop attitudes of curiosity, empathy and openness towards the other, while developing awareness and knowledge of one's own and the other's culture and social practices. Communication focus in task design. Telecollaboration tasks need to be meaning-oriented and communication-focused. Tasks stimulate information and opinion exchange as a result of inbuilt natural gaps, which imply a two-way or interactive approach to communication, and the need to focus not only in what one wants to convey, but on understanding the other. That is, peers will need to capture and understand what the speech partner is conveying, react appropriately, and use the information to jointly achieve the task goals. In so doing, they will engage in sequences of negotiation of meaning. Technology in task design. Tasks in telecollaboration are technology-mediated, and as such, tasks should optimally exploit the specific affordances of the tools being used. In chat sessions, pupils will write, use emoticons to emphasize interpersonal relationships. In video communication environments, pupils will talk, chat, share files and see each other's gestures, while in virtual worlds, they will share a virtual space where they communicate in the form of avatars, either orally or by chat, and will engage in all kinds of action. These specific tool affordances will influence how tasks are carried out. A second important aspect relates to ICT literacy skills. Pupils should know how to use a specific environment and how to communicate appropriately in it according to etiquette norms. Finally, technology should be checked prior to carrying out the tasks, because tasks might be useful, meaningful, engaging and fun on paper, but if technology does not work, tasks will lose their pedagogical potential. In order to address this technological issue, teachers may want to work on different scenarios, organizing telecollaboration sessions in classroom settings, if computer and internet connections work properly, and/or piloting sessions at home as homework. In both cases, hardware, software and internet connections should be checked prior to initiating any telecollaboration exchanges. Pedagogical focus in task design. It is important for a good telecollaboration task that task objectives are clearly formulated, that instructions are clear for the pupils, that task demands are well addressed by providing enough support at linguistic, communicative, intercultural, interpersonal and ICT levels, that learner handouts and other necessary resources are provided, that task outcomes have been clearly specified, and that task phases are well integrated in a blended approach. It is indeed important to ensure pedagogic integration into the overall curriculum. That's why the telecollaboration tasks should not be designed as isolated units, but rather as sequences of subtasks combining in-class and online activities. Regarding the organization of task sequences, it might be useful to distinguish between three different phases: preparatory, main and follow-up phases. Now we will be having a look at those three phases. The preparatory phase. This involves activities that help prepare for the main telecollaborative task. This may concern intercultural issues, where pupils prepare for the intercultural encounter by enhancing attitudes of openness and curiosity towards the target cultural group and empathy for peers of a different cultural background. Communicative issues, where pupils get prepared for the communicative encounter in the target language. They are exposed to communicative functions, linguistic elements that will be required for carrying out the main task. Collaboration issues, where pupils learn to accommodate to different collaboration styles. Some might be active, others reactive, some more talkative, others more quiet, and they should learn how to accommodate, how to adapt to these different styles. Strategic issues. This involves the use of communication strategies necessary to co-create and negotiate meaning. Could you please repeat that? Could you speak more slowly? What do you mean by? These are strategies pupils will need to use in those collaboration exchanges. And finally, technological concerns related to digital literacy. They will learn how to use the specific tool and how to communicate in it. This is the template we use to specify what teachers will be doing at the preparatory task phase for each individual task. Within the main task phase, this one focuses on intercultural communicative interaction in synchronous and asynchronous collaboration environments. And central aim is to engage pupils in natural and authentic communicative exchanges with peers from the other country. And as we said before, remember that we should try to organize those tasks close to the pupils' lives, as tasks enable pupils to talk about themselves, to share their opinions, likes and dislikes, and share their personal experiences. For the main task, we do have also a template that teachers fill in, providing information about these different aspects. Description of the subtask, learning objectives, environment being used form and organization of the collaborative interaction, and finally the expected outcomes. And finally, we have the follow-up, where activities are designed for consolidating and sharing what has been learned during the telecollaboration exchanges, where pupils reflect about that exchange. And this can be organized in different forms. Pupils may report back to the class, provide information about the peer. They may engage in follow-up discussions in class or a forum, discussing any issues that raised during the telecollaboration sequence. Peer assessment and reflection, when peers are reflecting about what have I learned, what did I like, what was difficult for me, were there any misunderstandings. Another possibility is to engage in reflective interviews with the teachers, when teachers and pupils do have an interview, do exchange views about how the telecollaboration sessions worked. And finally, individual or group portfolios with a documentation, assessment and reflection of the outcomes. In Chapter 3, you will also find examples of tasks developed for different target languages: English, French, German, Spanish or Valencian, communication constellations, lingua franca and tandem, different linguistic levels and different tools: OpenSim, video communication, chat. Do please enjoy.